Welcome to Fearlessly Made You. I am your host, Kristie Tobias. Joining me today are guests just striving to dominate in their personal and professional lives while answering the question, what does it mean to be fearlessly made? Welcome back, Fearlessly Made You family. On this episode, I've got a little treat and surprise for you. But before we go there, as always, y'all know I like to just remind us of the purpose of Fearlessly Made You. So Fearlessly Made You is a spinoff of the book, also titled Fearlessly Made You. And it's about my story with post-traumatic stress disorder and the honest conversations and stories we're able to bring together so that we are kind of uniting around our journeys. And so today is no different than any of our other episodes where we get to unite around our journey. I do want to say that thank you, as I always do, to someone who's definitely partnered and united with me, Dillards. You guys have styled me in this very gorgeous, beautiful, warm leather outfit that is bringing me joy, but is also bringing me a little fierceness, which is perfect for today's episode guests. That's right, I said guests. We have two. We are excited to bring today Manda and Meleah from Sisters That Stray, a global movement that is truly liberating women out of the good girl box into really realizing their purpose, their power, and my favorite, the joy of pleasure. Y'all, I have had the opportunity to be on Sisters That Stray podcast before, and I was so empowered by the conversations. But before I go into that, let me introduce you to Manda and Meleah. Welcome to Fearlessly Made You.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Excited to be here.
Yes. I'm so glad y'all are here. So we're going to go ahead and clear the air, guys. We have a little bit of beef and bone to pick today.
Yeah, let's get into it.
We're getting into it.
We're not letting this go.
We're not letting it go. No, I'm a little upset. What had happened was, friends, there was this one time where I was on Sisters That Stray, as I'd mentioned.
Yes.
And one sister decided to stray.
Oh.
Meleah strayed from
This happens
the
often. Actually, I'm like, am I needed? No, but I was sick.
She was sick.
I was sick.
Carrying the team.
Like,
But
Amanda carried the team.
gladly.
Yes.
I loved it.
It was a powerful
Selfishly, I was,
Yeah, she needed to shine.
I was loving the spotlight.
She did shine.
I mean, there was a moment where we're like, do we bring Meleah on? We weren't sure. I'm just kidding.
Do we reschedule?
No, but it's honestly, I'm so excited. So, I mean, as y'all know, I love the ability for us to own our journeys, and there's no two women who have owned their journey more than Manda and Meleah, and I want to take it real back, far back,
Okay.
and learn a little bit about, or I know, but I want our team, our Fearlessly Made You crew, to learn a little bit about where y'all came from and how Sisters That Stray came about. So we're going to start with Meleah.
Yeah.
She's got some making up to do. So
Your turn.
I'm here for it.
Yes.
I love a good story.
I know.
Yeah, so it really started, I guess 2015, we started a travel blog, just for fun.
Yeah.
That's where
And
the name came from.
That's where the name came from.
Get it? Yeah.
Sisters That Stray.
Or stray away from podcasts. Never mind. I will leave that
You
alone.
can use it in many ways.
People have used it lots of
many
different ways.
I love it. It's a catchy name.
Yeah, Amanda came up with it.
I am not surprised by this.
The
I'm not going to let go.
So we did that, and we were traveling a lot at the time. We ended up moving to Denver, Colorado, and we thought this would be our home base. We were like, let's settle down here and just live here forever. And we continued to travel, and on a whim, we had this flight booked to Costa Rica.
Which we almost didn't take.
Oh,
Yeah.
Almost.
okay.
We were this close to canceling.
Well, okay. We're going to dig into that.
Yeah, that one's a little juicy, but I'll save that for later.
I love juicy.
But we ended up going, and pretty much immediately we arrived at night, and the next morning we woke up and we were like, where are we?
Yeah, you can curse on
Okay, I almost did.
You're allowed to
Okay, almost it's gonna happen. So we ended up extending our trip, staying a few more days than we were supposed to, and there was just this feeling of we need to be here.
Yeah.
And we ended up going back to Denver, selling our things, quitting our jobs. I left a relationship, and we moved our lives to Costa Rica. So that was now looking back, I can see that it was our intuition guiding us.
Yeah.
A lot of faith and trust at the time was required, but I didn't necessarily know, like, this is going to lead me to building a business. It was just like, okay, I think we're going to move here.
Love that.
So,
And also you're making up for all the lost time that we didn't get to have together right now with this story.
Are you loving it?
I'm okay with it now, guys. I'm okay with it.
Great. We're only like halfway through.
I know. I'm loving this. Keep going.
So, yeah, living in Costa Rica, we were exposed to this whole new, a different way of living.
Okay.
And we were on our own journeys of really finding ourselves, being in the jungle in that way. We spent most of our days outside and eating like fresh food, and it really just connected us to a deeper part of ourselves and to spirituality. And from there, we understood we could share this with other people.
Yeah.
People were asking, like, what are you doing? Like, it was an obvious shift,
Yeah.
in us.
It was not subtle.
No. And so, yeah, and then we invested in our first mentor and our first business coach and started coaching women. We started in health and wellness, and then we were like, it's more than just the food you eat. And then we went into mindset coaching, and we were like, it's more than just the thoughts you think. It's what we found now, and what we really believe to be true is it's really about the body, about the somatic work, and understanding how you can work with your nervous system and heal from trauma. And it all really starts and ends through the body. And that's what our work now is based in, is embodiment and somatic healing. So it's really been about us on our own journeys, learning and then integrating that, and then understanding how we can bring that to the women that we serve.
Yeah. My goodness. Y'all, that was by far one of the sauciest stories.
She left out Bali too.
Oh, we did do Bali, yeah.
Excuse me, we left out Bali. I'm so sorry. Let's, Amanda, would you like to tell us about Bali?
Yeah.
We apologize for leaving out Bali.
I mean, it just kept going. Like, essentially, Leah woke up one day and she was like, let's go to Bali. And I was like, okay, let's go. So I feel like, yeah, from that place, we like just continued to go deeper and deeper into what we were learning. We worked with some like really, really amazing mentors and teachers out there. And I think it also like instilled this sense of like courage and trust in us. Because it took like balls to move to Costa Rica and just like with zero plan, didn't have a place to live, like no job lined up.
And when you say like y'all left your jobs,
yes. Like at the time we thought these were like our dream jobs. Okay. Left security, like all the security that we had in Denver, Colorado, just left it.
Released it all. So
there was already like a sense of like courage from that, but then to go across the world, like to be on the opposite side of the world, away from our family, our friends, just the two of us, and I think it really strengthened the bond that we had being out there. But, Bali is like a really special place as far as like what you have access to, like learning about spirituality and, like even, all of our practices around like, our mind, body, and spirit just went even deeper while we were in that place. So we spent like 6 months out there and came home at the beginning of 2020, I believe it was. It was right when the world was starting to shut down.
Okay.
And it was right before that happened, though. And again, I think it was our intuition that was telling us it's time to go home. And so I think that's also a huge lesson that we've learned along the way is like our intuition is never wrong.
Yeah.
Always listen to it. And so, we have, to the best of our ability, of course. And so, something was calling us home. I think it was really mostly this sense of like wanting to put down roots and build a community, which we had started to do online. And, that was fulfilling to a certain extent. And it still is. It's still something that we do online. But like we were really craving something in person. And of course, like being home in Pensacola, like we had both left it for like a big chunk of our 20s, and like we're all like, I'm gonna go leave home and do something else and figure it out, like very like a little bit of that like rebellious energy to us. We've always had that. So, we did that, and then we were like, no, something feels like it's calling us back home, and it feels like it's an opportunity to heal, and it's an opportunity to grow and expand, and that's really what happened since we've been home. I guess it's going on like almost 3 years now. The beginning of 2023 will be 3 years.
Wow.
But it's been, so healing to be back home and to be building our community here. We've even gone back to Denver, Colorado, and started building a community out there. So that feels like a second home for us,
Absolutely.
And then we've done retreats in Costa Rica, which is like our third home for us. So, it's like our path led us to all these places. And there was definitely a reason behind it. It was like planting seeds for us to like then come back and build a community there.
So many things that I want to unpack from all of that. But one thing that I think is so firmly rooted in what you do is healing. And so I kind of want to lean into that a little more so. So when you think about healing for yourselves, like your intuition was guiding you, we got to release all of this and we need to kind of find our center and what that looks like. But were there places that were happening or triggering you in your own self that was like, I need to heal from this? Like, what did that look like? Either one of you can start this time. I will allow it.
I'll let Leah start. I feel like she
Yeah.
has a lot to share here.
Yeah, I love that question. And it's interesting, even the way in which I heal has transformed so much. I think when I first started understanding that what healing is and how to do it and personal growth, it was very focused on the love and the light. So like think positive thoughts and like manifestation and just like feeling so good. I mean, we went vegan. I was sober for a while, like celibate, like really to the extreme. And to an extent that was healing for me. And then for now, it's more so about like integrating all of that. And so it's like grounding it.
Yes.
And now healing to me is really about like going to my darkness.
Okay.
Like really feeling and accepting the parts of me that I might not want to embrace or not want to accept. Like what are those parts of me? Because I'm not really whole or myself if I've denied those parts of me.
That's fair.
So really learning how to be okay with the darkness or the unfavorable parts of myself. And that's been the most empowering part of my journey. I would say is like, I feel more, it's like grounding the spirituality into like the human experience.
Yes.
It's like, we can be woke. Okay. I like that. When the moon is full, let's like get some crystals and I'm going to live this human life and learn how to regulate my emotions and not deny emotions. Right. So yeah, I think that's been the biggest thing for me is really learning, even with past trauma. I think while we were traveling and being really nomadic, there was a way in which it almost felt like we were running from something. Like out here in the world, we'll find our purpose or we'll find ourselves or we'll be happy. But then we realized it's like this win-then. When I go to Bali, then I'll be happy. When I get the relationship, then I'll be fulfilled.
Yeah.
And through that, I was able to learn that it's really within me, my own fulfillment, my own purpose, my own power.
Absolutely.
And it's coming back to that.
I love that because I almost want to pause there because I think so many people are listening to that part of it, which is it's not a let me wait for this thing to happen and then I'm good. It really is that foundational of like, but where am I? And how is that shaping what I want and what I am feeling? And I love the going to your darkness. I think one of the things with Fearlessly Made You that we talk about is not allowing fear to own you, but acknowledging it and knowing that the fear exists or the darkness exists. And I talk about it a lot in the book, but we have so much messiness. We have so much shit in our lives and we can let ourselves say, just pack that away. And then I'm just going to wait until like I feel a little better and then I'm good. It's like, but you're still not actually acknowledging and owning that. So had to pause there because I feel like a lot of the Fearlessly Made You crew is like that part, like that part is what I get. So I love that. Continue.
Yeah, I almost even want to touch on that a little bit, because that's what we see a lot with the women we support in our different retreats, programs, things that we run, is when you dismiss the fear or whatever emotion, like whatever you might have experienced, something painful in the past or abandon yourself, whatever it is, but the fear or the emotion attached to that, when we suppress it, an emotion is energy.
Yeah.
And so then that energy is just stuck and stagnant in your body. And then that's why we see women struggling with feeling numb or depleted, exhausted, because they're holding all of that energy, which it takes your energy to hold all of that.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And that's what the embodiment work has done for us. And the women we work with is you learn how to move that emotion, like you were saying, like process the emotion, accept it, be with it, listen to it, talk to it, instead of making it bad or wrong. And in doing so, you liberate yourself.
Yeah.
You get that energy that was holding the fear is now free for you to use.
I love that. Liberate is one of my favorite words.
Oh yeah.
It's so
really
good.
into it.
Yes. Well, and it's interesting because one of the questions, and I told Manda and Meleah this coming on the show, there's so many reasons, and as y'all know, I'm very purposeful and intentional as I choose people that come to the Fearlessly Made You crew, not out of a way to exclude anyone, but the opposite. I want to include people who are inclusive of our journeys and who have a voice that is different than what we've heard. But something that we talked about during the episode with Manda, we're back to this again. I'm sorry, Meleah.
Sorry, you weren't there.
You weren't there, Meleah. You were sick. And so, but you asked such an empowering question that goes to these feelings with, the rape and the sexual abuse that I've been through. What is your relationship with sex? And I remember I was like, whew, no one goes to that question because it is so uncomfortable for people to think about. And I was like, thank you. Like, I want people to know the realities of those dark places, because it wasn't a good relationship for so long because of those feelings that I wasn't processing, I wasn't owning, the darkness that was there and consuming me. But I was like, it's okay, like the little dog in the fire, it's fine, everything's fine. I just feel the darkness closing in. But it was so powerful, and it's why I love y'all's journey so much. And there's just an authenticity and a vulnerability in the imperfections that you share. So though you weren't here for this beautiful moment, I don't think I will ever release that. I'm so excited about continuing this journey with you.
I think it's going to stay.
It's going to stay.
It's going to be part of our relationship.
So I'm just going to walk past you. Just kidding. But I do want to stay in this place because I think it's just so liberating. It is so liberating to talk about the uncomfortable things, to acknowledge those places of fear and darkness, but to also say, but I am also a grown-ass woman and can handle it. Yeah. I can handle the uncomfortable things. Yeah. They suck. But I can handle them. I love it. So let's kind of talk even further and continue the conversation. So as y'all are now building this journey that is requiring you to kind of tap into these deep places of yourself, tap into what healing looks like, where has there been that kind of those uncomfortable moments? What have they looked like? How have you kind of journeyed through that? I'd love to just kind of break into that a little bit.
Ooh, so much discomfort.
I am sure. I'm very curious about it.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah. Yes, so much discomfort along the way, and I think that something that has always been a part of our journey is we remind ourselves that what we're going through in our personal lives is taking us deeper into our purpose, is taking us deeper into our dharma, our our message, our medicine. And so we often remind ourselves, when we're going through something that's really hard. Something happened recently where, I won't get into it, but it was really, it felt like I was under attack by somebody, and it was somebody that I had, was starting to form a close relationship with. And I felt like, yeah, really attacked by this person. And what they were attacking was like something that I felt was my radiance and my power and my passion and my purpose and my pleasure, right?
Yes.
All these things. And I had tried to share that with them, and they ended up turning around and like trying to shame me for it. And it was really, really hard. And I definitely had, I had a moment where I like came crying to Leah and our best friend. And I was like, am I wrong? Am I too much? Because it was a moment of like just really feeling like so much doubt, self-doubt in that experience. And they looked at me, and I remember two things very specifically that they each told me. One thing was, Sylvia, our best friend, looked at me and she was like, this path is not going to be easy. This path that you have chosen is not going to be easy because you're doing something that's going against like what society considers normal or good, right? And Leah was like, this is something that is like, just like I said, it's going to take you deeper into the way that you show up, into your embodiment. And so when we are holding space and facilitating these experiences with these women, when they share an experience with you that is similar to what you just experienced, you're going to be able to feel and like resonate with them on a much deeper level, like a felt sense level, and like that is going to create even deeper, I think, like the work, safety, like it's going to create even deeper safety between us and them. And from there, of course, like when they can feel that safety, like that's when it can go so much further. Like that's when it can really be carried forth in a more meaningful way, So yeah, I feel like through the challenges that we've been through, like we always find a way to understand like that there's a reason behind it, and there's always medicine in it. There's always medicine in it.
I love that. There's always medicine in it, because I think that's the part that it becomes easy to say, well, that happened and was disruptive and I don't like it, and to just kind of shift it back. The hard part, and it's interesting as you're going through that journey, I was going through a similar one, where there is that like, but wait, I thought this was who I was supposed to be. I thought this was where my purpose was going to be. And I think I've told y'all, like, my faith has always been very important to me. And I, one of you, that my faith has always been very important to me. Couldn't let it go. But in that conversation, though, a lot of it was that grounding of allowing that purpose to live its journey without letting other people tell you things that they don't have any business being a part of. And that is, I mean, as you were saying, I was like, yes, I'm feeling that so intimately. And I love that as part of your journey, it is involving you having that space for others to be part of that. So with your retreats, I want the Fearlessly Made You crew to know a little bit, whatever you want to share, because I think there is value in going to the retreat. So I don't want y'all giving away too much because we want people to go. But I would love to know little snippets of what you can share about maybe just kind of like the power and the healing that women are experiencing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you want to?
Yeah, I think there's two main things that the women that come on retreat with us receive and experience, and one is the community. So feeling safe and playful and expressive and vulnerable and also maybe scared in a space with other women, which is something that sadly isn't really that common in our current world. We're conditioned with comparing ourselves or not wanting to show emotion, and so the spaces we hold, it's a slow kind of progress of kind of like letting them open up slowly, so it's not too like jolting. But by the time they leave, that's one of the biggest things they say is like just to be in a space with women being really authentic and just like connecting in this way. It's really beautiful to witness that. And the second thing we hear the most is the embodiment work we do. So this is, again, the main modality that we use. And a lot of the women, you know, they're holding so much, maybe past pain or resentment or trauma, whatever, in the body. And through the different practices we'll guide them through, it creates a space for that to process and release. And again, that's what creates the liberation of like, wow, I'm in my body and I feel safe to be in my body. We just held a retreat, The Liberated Woman in Denver, and that was what one of the women was sharing at the end was, this is the first time in a really long time I felt safe in my body to be sensual.
Yeah.
And it's just like amazing, you know, like we deserve that. We
Absolutely.
get to feel that way, and we forget that, you know. The body can feel like a very unsafe place to be, and that's really sad, you know. And so a lot of the space we hold is about reclaiming that for yourself. We always say a woman who inhabits her body is the most powerful force in the world. And it's
I love that.
so true, you know, because she has the ability to connect to her intuition, to her own source of aliveness and energy, and her wisdom of the womb, and just so much. And culture has really taught us not to be in the body because it's dirty, it's slutty, it's
just for women, to be very clear.
Exactly.
Just for women. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
So, yeah, we were holding the retreats in Costa Rica, and we had a lot of the women in our community saying, like, I want to come, but I can't make it happen. I'm a mom or whatever it is, like going to the jungle. It's a big ask, you know?
The jungle's a thing.
It's a thing. It's an experience.
It's a country.
So,
Thanks.
big thing. So we have been wanting to bring the retreat experience to the States and make it more accessible.
Yes.
So we just ran the retreat in Denver. It was a day retreat. We're doing it in Pensacola, October 15th.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and if people want to come to the retreat, we're going to go ahead and do this right now so you guys can hear it. So if people want to come to the retreat, how do they get there? Like, what do? They reach out to you?
Yeah.
Or Manda?
Text Manda only.
Text Manda only, Manda.
The friendly one, the reliable one.
I saw your little sister's thing on Instagram. Yeah, one of you is friendly, one of you is not. We're just going to let that sit there.
She wasn't surprised.
No.
She knows what
Manda
was
was
correct.
She was the friendly one.
I'm the friendly one.
I'm just kidding.
So yes.
Sistersthatstray.com.
Love it.
You can always find everything that we're doing there, everything that we offer. You can also just follow us on Instagram. That's honestly the best way. Like, we're very active there.
Yes.
We're very friendly. So you can slide through our DMs. And yeah, there's plenty of information on that platform at Sisters That Stray.
So as you're saying that, one of the things that I love about this being so embracing your body is something that I think is also so taboo, especially in female culture, is that conversation around pleasure. Yeah. And I love following you on Instagram because I love the sensuality. I love
dancing.
Yes. There, I was going to get there because I'm ready to take this journey. I talked about it right before I left, actually. But there's that, but there's just, it's so much more. There's that the pole dancing that you do and that you show, but it's the confidence in enjoying yourself and having the pleasure of being yourself and embracing your bodies. I want to dive into that. Like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Let's get into it. Yeah. This is one of our favorite things to talk about. You know, there is so much that goes into like this journey for women to start to reclaim their sexuality as theirs, as their own, to like step into that sovereignty. Because like essentially female sexuality is so positioned in culture for like the male gaze, for like male enjoyment. So whenever a woman shows up sexually, it's automatically assumed she's doing it for male attention or for validation, right? And so there's something very empowering. It's like literally an act of taking your power back when you show up and you do it just for yourself. And so that can look like whatever it looks like for you, right? So like for me, it might be sharing these videos of myself dancing because this has been one of the most healing practices. Pole dancing has been one of the most healing practices of my life. Yeah. And for me, that's like, I want to share that because I'm proud of myself for like healing like pieces and parts of myself that I wasn't able to access before this practice, you know? And so I'm proud of that and I want to share that. And what has also been really beautiful about it is I definitely do not do it for the male attention, because what I love the most about it is the women that reach out.
Yes.
Oh my God. They get so inspired by it. And I have, just from like these little videos that I share, which started out as something, and it still really is something that I do for myself, but it has inspired other women to start picking up the practice as well. And then they send me videos of themselves on the pole, and I can see it transforming them. I can see like the shift, just, like how you were describing it. You can feel it, like the energy through the transmission of like how they're moving their body and the expression on their face. And
that's the part that is so different, is the expression of your body and face have absolutely nothing to do with anyone else. And you can tell that. And so I love that. Not to interrupt, but I was like, that, I think that's the piece for everyone to hear and really lean into is, you know, we see so many videos and so many things. And, you know, I think about different artists who are out there that we get ostracized or chastised for sharing themselves. You know, I think about the Lizzos of the world who are just like, this is for me. Like, I don't care what you think. That is like what comes out whenever I do, because I love watching the videos. It made me uncomfortable at first, like primarily because we're told it's supposed to make you uncomfortable. But I had the privilege of being part of the podcast prior to, because the societal ways that we're supposed to be have nothing to do with me as an individual.
And listen, if it triggers you, I'm still doing something right.
Exactly.
Because like that makes you sit there and think, oh, why am I uncomfortable watching this? You know, because you're like, that's my friend, I love her. Like,
I have to question that. Like the first I was like, hold up. I'm actually real proud of her. Like, this is amazing. I'm like, our leg goes there. Oh, okay, that's good. We can put our leg. Then I stretch hurt muscle. That was a different conversation. I tried.
Listen, I've hurt myself too. It's okay. It's part of it. But and it, you know, it's also like there's this intergenerational wounding that women carry as well around not even our sexuality, but just like standing up and taking control of our money, of our bodies, because we've literally been punished for thousands and thousands of years. We've been punished. You know, like the witch the burning times, like the witch trials,
Salem witch trials. Yes.
You know, like that left a mark in every generation of women, you know, that touched, and it continues to have an impact on us. So there's a reason why we feel threatened. When we show up in this way, there's a reason. It's not just because like we know it might like piss some people off, it might confuse some people, it might, you know, people might call you all kinds of names, but there's also something deeper there. Like we've literally been carrying this wound through generations and generations of women. So it's like, it's this radical act to decide I'm not going to live under this fear anymore. You know, it's an act of rejecting that shame that's, you know, society and whoever is trying to project onto you. And it's like, and it is scary, right? Absolutely. It is scary. Like, and it's good, like Leah's saying, it's good to acknowledge that darkness, you know, like acknowledge the fear, acknowledge the shame, but you don't have to let it take over you. You don't have to let it like determine who you are and what you do, right?
Yeah. I love that. And it makes me think like this journey that you all have been on and continue to go on with this acknowledgement of who you are. And I love the conversation around the power, the purpose, the pleasure, because I think those are the three things that we're told we should not have, but it's taking it back. But that also probably has, as we've talked about, those uncomfortable moments, a lot of that healing. How do you find yourself still maintaining the truth in the journey and acknowledging that uncomfortable fear of, is this still the right journey? I'm curious.
Yeah, that's such a good question. Yeah, it's been interesting the past, I guess, 5 or 7 years, having so many mentors and taking so many courses and certifications and all the books and all the podcasts. And at a certain point, I began to learn how to kind of filter through that to see what lands for me.
Yes.
What sits in my body as truth.
Yes.
And that's where I want to move from my truth. And that's a big thing we teach the women we work with is something I teach you might not resonate.
Right.
Throw it out.
Yeah.
Don't take it.
Yeah. Take what's going to bring you value.
Yeah. And so through the embodiment work, you're able to learn, that really works for me. I'm going to try that on. I'm going to practice that, I'm going to lean into that.
Yeah.
And then also the parts that are like, no, that's not really true for me.
Yeah.
Right? And understanding we all have our different perspectives and flavors and spice and, like.
She's spicy right now. Yeah. A little spicy. But I like it. Lots of spice. We've got lots of spice today, y'all.
We like it. Bring the spice.
A little bit
More spice.
I love that.
Yeah, and it's being able to trust yourself. I think that's the foundation of it.
Mm-hmm.
Can I trust myself to hold my truth and not need to take on someone else's truth to fit in? Can I be safe in my truth? Which that is a practice, right? Like that is a journey to find that place, a forever practice, really. It's not like a destination, but developing the self-trust in yourself of, I'm good here. This works for me. I'm gonna use this practice, or I'm gonna take on this truth, or I'm gonna take on this belief. Because a lot of the beliefs that we hold aren't even true for us.
Amen to that.
They aren't even
ours.
We talk about invisible rules, these invisible rules we live under. And when you look at these rules, it's like, no, I don't want that rule.
Yeah.
Why would I take
Who
that?
gave me this rule?
I don't need it.
It's not even mine.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I think, there's so many things. So I think what I love about what both of you have brought to Fearlessly Made You is this understanding that your truth is your truth. And you have to value that and own that journey, but also own it at the pace that makes sense for you and not allowing other people to filter in things that don't belong to you and your journey.
Absolutely. That reminds me of one of our mentors always reminds us to follow our aliveness.
Yes.
She's like, where is the aliveness in this moment?
Oh, yeah.
That's how we responded as well. We're like, okay,
we'll take that.
Yeah, right? Because it's like, it's so true, because you can get so distracted by people, your haters,
Always.
you can get distracted by what this girl over here is doing on Instagram, or what your best friend is telling you to do, what your mom thinks you should be doing with your life. You can get so distracted by that. And it's like, we have really, our embodiment journey has really taken us deeper into our aliveness and our inner knowing, our own inner knowing. And that is, just like how we started this conversation, our intuition, it never is leading you in the wrong direction, right?
Yes.
Like that is something that you can always come home to. And that's what we tried to give the women that we work with too, is like, we're not feeding you any answers. Like, don't come to us looking for answers, but we will help you access your own inner knowing and create a deeper and closer relationship with it so that it can take you there.
I love it. Accessing your own intuition. I think that's just a beautiful way to kind of close out what has felt like just a very quick time, but I think we've dove into so much. Thank you both.
Yeah, thank you.
Especially you. For
Thanks for making it.
You joined us. No, y'all, as I've said before, I truly admire, respect, and just love the journey that we are all on. I'm grateful that I get to be part of this journey with you. And I so thank you for being part of Fearlessly Made You today. Thank y'all for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Such an honor.
The Fearlessly Made You crew, y'all love this.
We had
I know
fun.
you did. We had a lot of fun. So as always, friends, I love being able to bring people who are making such an impact in the community. And, I always talk about this. Y'all know at the end, those partnerships, like the ones that we have at Dillard's with the styling, like the ones that I get to have with Sisters That Stray with their retreat. Sisters That Stray on Instagram, follow them so you can get a chance to go on their retreat. And as always, Fearlessly Made You crew, stay tuned for the next episode of Fearlessly Made You.